I don't think there's a single race this year that says more about the future of the Republican Party than what is happening in Kentucky's fourth congressional district. Of course, you have Thomas Massie, who is the incumbent there, and then you also have Ed Gallerin, who is backed by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and it's gonna be a pretty interesting showdown. But the reason I say that is because this is the first, of course, there's gonna, Trump is coming to an end of his term. Like it's gonna happen. I know he keeps saying he's gonna run for a third term. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna get anywhere close. But, Trump's gonna come to an end. His approvals are not very high. Is MAGA gonna continue? Is there gonna be MAGA 2.0 or just a continuation of exactly how it is? Is it gonna be JD Vance? Or whatnot, and what kind of candidates are going to run just nationally all over the place in different states. Um, and why I think this race in particular is going to shape that is one, because usually when Trump, there's a Republican who comes out against Trump, right? Like usually when that happens, it's usually a candidate either to the left or maybe even the center, like, let's just, all unify, like we've heard that message before, like a Liz Cheney, something like that. Usually those people, Trump will endorse an opponent and that person will go down. Um, However, this is like almost Thomas Massie is attacking Trump from the right. Um, and I actually don't even think it's like that. I think that's the way it is. He's attacking him. Again, not on his rhetoric or anything like that. He's attacking him on, what's going on in Iran, like what are we doing there? What's going on with, the national debt, what's going on, with the Epstein stuff. Like these are attacks from the right. And Tom, and it's been a pretty, if you look at polling, I think Thomas Massie has consistently been leading, but it's getting very tight now. It's about within 5 points, which probably most polls, that's within the margin of error, and especially in some Kentucky congressional district, which I believe is around the Cincinnati area, but I could be wrong. The fourth district, a congressional race, that could be especially in the margin of error, because it's hard to pull there because there's, of course, not as many people as like say a statewide election or something like that. That Thomas Massie could definitely lose, but it will be interesting if he does or if he prevails because I think there's a good chance the polling is off and Thomas Massie gets a pretty decent win. That would be my prediction, and that would be big because again, if Ed Gellerin wins, that pretty much just says MAGA is still the party of Trump, and it's pretty much just going to be the Republican Party is just it doesn't matter if you've been a Republican for 30 years or if you're a Democrat turned Republican or if you're like a hardcore MAGA, just agree with Trump and you'll be good. And that's the message that would send if Ed Gallerin wins. If Thomas Massie wins, that sends, oh boy, things are getting interesting. That sends like, who's in charge of the Republican Party is not Donald Trump anymore. And again, it could depend on the margin of it. If it's like a 2 point victory, I wouldn't say that. If Thomas Massie wins by like 2 points, Trump still has a decent grip. But say Thomas Massie wins by like 20 points, then that says it's like the Tucker Carlson wing is taken over. The Thomas Massie wing's taken over. That message of like, hey, we voted for America first, what's going on? That might take over. So it'll be very interesting. But yeah, that is my prediction if I have to give one. I think Thomas Massie, and also just because it's his home district, he's been elected there a while. I struggle to see him losing. My prediction will be it's about a 10 point margin. He wins, and that'll be a very solid win again for the quote unquote America first wing. They will be able to say they get a victory, but we'll see what happens.